welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rita Borenstein, and that's also the name of my channel. I have chosen a theme, Passion for the Soul, and I record videos about my own experience as Life Between Life hypnotherapist here in Sweden since 11 years back, and I also interview guests. Some of my videos are in Swedish and some are in English. Today I'm going to speak about silence. I have done a lot of sessions with clients in what is called Life Between Life hypnotherapy for spiritual regression. It is based on the work by Dr. Micahel Newton, who passed 2016 and retired 2006. We have an institute now called Micahel Newton Institute, based on the legacy of the work of Dr. Micahel Newton. He wrote books, and the most famous one is Journey of Souls, and the second one, Destiny of Souls. He also wrote a third book called Life Between Life hypnotherapy for spiritual regression, which describes this kind of hypnotherapy that he created. It's an amazing kind of hypnotherapy method, and that is why I think I have been so fascinated by it, and is one of the members of the Micahel Newton Institute since I certified in 2013. The whole therapy is based on the fact that Micahel Newton found out through 7,000 clients over 2 decades that it is possible to remember one's own soul, and also the soul in what he called life between life state, which is actually not in an incarnation, like a past life regression where you can remember a past life, but it is a state where you are between incarnations, or you could say where we are when we are not in a body. So it's a way to sense one's own soul very purely, and to be in touch with one's own soul, and also with guides and soul groups and other super interesting phenomena. I've written 2 books about my work here in Sweden with the method, and my third one is soon to be published, but it's in Swedish. You can find my books and the books by Dr. Micahel Newton on Amazon and Adlibris and all the all the other online bookstores, so they are easy to purchase in case you're interested. You can also, of course, contact me in case you're interested in this method. I have recorded several videos, both in Swedish and in English, about the method. There is one called Life Between Life hypnotherapy, and many interviews with colleagues. Also, you can find them by watching my channel. But today I'm going to speak about silence, which is, of course, a word, but through meditation, you have probably noticed that a lot of things, it's not things, of course, but your state of mind and emotions, and how you sense yourself with awareness, is happening a lot in silence. Some people who come to see me for sessions, they long for a lot of information, especially those who read about the book by Dr. Micahel Newton. They're interested in, who am I as a soul? Who am I as a person? What is it like to die in a past life, and how do I enter spirit world from the death moment in a past life? And so many interesting things that Micahel Newton found out is actually possible in a Life Between Life hypnotherapy session like this. in the Micahel Newton Institute, and also from my own experience, we have kind of compared a Life Between Life hypnotherapy session with a near-death experience, which you have probably heard about. It's something people have written about, told about, and share experience about what it's like to die, and then to remember what it was like to die, actually, which seems quite strange to some people. But at least 8 times I have experienced in my Life Between Life hypnotherapy with very skilled colleagues. And I've told my story in my 2 books, To Soul, Home and Back, and My Soul is a Diamond, Let My True Light Shine, what it feels like to die in a past life during hypnotherapy, and also tell my hypnotherapist as it happens what it's like. So I think there's a revolutionary finding by Micahel Newton that all this is possible. And why would anyone be interested in such a thing? Well, for me, it has revealed my deeper connection with my own soul. And this is why I do all these sessions with clients here in Sweden since 11 years, because I find it so fascinating when a client comes and want, together with me, research their own soul history, their own reason why they incarnate this time in this present life, and investigate soul groups and why certain souls incarnate with the same souls as I have been told for many clients that as we come here to this earth in a new incarnation, we also come together with other souls who are familiar to us, and some are already maybe our mom and our dad and siblings or close family, and maybe others we meet along the way, like partners, friends, first teacher, other people who we meet along the way. And I find it utterly interesting to figure out for myself those people who I not only found myself being very attached to among these people I have met, including people in my family, but also those I, from the first minute I meet them, I don't like them. I don't hate them either, but I feel, well, I'm not attracted to the person. And it's usually mutual, and it doesn't happen so often these days. I don't know why, but in my younger days especially, I would meet someone and they kind of hated me from the start. And I did many sessions myself and healing sessions to find out why a certain person would not like me, although I felt myself I wasn't that mean to that person. But along the years I've been working with this method, and also as a healer and osteopath, acupuncturist, and nurse, we call it just personal chemistry, but it's really, really interesting to figure out on a deeper level, on a soul level, why we are attracted to certain people and why some people we are just repelled from each other. And this, I guess, is the reason to war and to complications in families, and actually the reason to conflict. I wouldn't know why we have conflicts on earth, but through duality we seem to learn. And in a war, it's we make the other the enemy, so to speak, to to see them as not as a person, but something, not a person with a family, with experiencing love and having children, having partner, having a lot of things which will vanish, of course, as death comes. But then through my experience, we travel then home and then meet whatever we need to meet. And this is what a Life Between Life hypnotherapy is all about. It's to heal past lives. It's to heal childhood in present life, because the method is all about, um, as based on Micahel Newton method, to do a long relaxation first with my client. We prepare, of course, first before the session in certain ways, which I don't share here, but I have shared in other videos. And then we do a long relaxation, and then we go to childhood memories, early, happy, neutral, or good memories, to bring resources to the client and to be more relaxed, because it's always nice to remember nice childhood memories. Then we go to the time in the mother's womb, and then to a past life, and then to the death moment in a past life. And after this, we cross into spirit world, and that's when the Life Between Life hypnotherapy session starts. Actually, everything else is preparation. So this is the reason why a Life Between Life hypnotherapy session is usually 4 hours long. It could be longer too, including the pre-talk and everything, and maybe a post-talk after the session. So I'm devoted to do these long and deep sessions because I'm very interested in this kind of possibility for us as humans to remember who we are on a deep level. So back to silence then. During these sessions, there are usually long periods of silence, which to the client is not perceived as long periods, because when you're in hypnotherapy, deeply regressed into hypnosis, you won't have any experience of time, place, or knowing what time it is, so to speak, or if the session is long or short. It's my job to keep track on these kind of things. But the pleasure of it is to have to be in a kind of love bath, or in a deeply relaxed still state, which is deeply healing, and not keep track on anything really, your daily suffering, or wanting to do things all the time, or to strive for earning money and make a living and all that. So that's why the longer the session is, it shouldn't be too long, because that will maybe deplete the client of energy in another way. So I try to keep them not longer than 4 hours if possible. And some sessions are 3 hours, because there are people who don't seem to need so long time. But again, the silence is super important. So usually I don't speak as much as in my videos. I'm also silent myself, and I give a few instructions, but other than that, I throw in some questions once in a while. But I learned through doing a lot of cranial osteopathy treatments when I was an osteopath full time, where I learned a lot of techniques to use silence actually, and stillness as the greatest healer of all. So long times of silence is usually some possibility for the client to be by themselves, with me sitting by their side, and they have a lot of insights, they tell me afterwards. And for the first time in their life, there's nobody rushing them or asking them questions all the time, because I feel we are in a hurry, we are stressed out, we have someone wanting result all the time inside of us. So these days I do still many sessions, not every day, but recently I had some kind of total transformation inside, which I have regularly. And with this, during these times, I don't have that many clients, but spend a lot of time in stillness. And one could say I'm passive, but I'm not passive, I'm active alert. also passive because I don't do much. I, of course, buy food and eat and spend time with my loved ones, but I don't long to have a lot of clients because I know I need a lot of stillness to go into my next phase. And I had already, before this phase started a few weeks ago, I had a few clients who told me they were longing for this kind of silence and stillness more and more and more and more. So we did these amazing sessions together with them, and it was deeply healing, of course, for me, for them. We could feel some kind of energy. I call it spirit or stillness or the tide, like in the ocean when the tide comes, especially when the huge tide comes. We have this terminology in cranial osteopathy when I was trained in biodynamics by an osteopath who is now deceased. His name is Dr. James Jealous. We were working a lot with this kind of small tide and big tide, and when the big tide comes, it's a stillness that is, cannot put a name on it. It's like God is here now, or love is here now, or presence is here now. And the client tells me afterwards that they felt a stillness beyond words. And then usually the session is done, and I count from 1 to 10, and the client comes back in my sofa in my living room here in my countryside home. And then they write to me after a few days, thank you, that was wonderful, I healed deep childhood memories or other things that they did not know what healed actually. But it's the presence of the presence in these sessions these days. And now I booked many clients in November, a new wave. Many men are coming now. And I don't know if it's their inner silence or something I radiate these days that make these people in a certain moment think of me and call me a book a session or write me a letter. So if you are one of these stillness seekers and wonder why you never feel this kind of peace inside, it's quite common these days, especially watching the news and feeling this pressure which is on now. I feel it too, of course. It's going into this silence, which is the only, at least for me, relief and healing. And I think many people these days have found this kind of place inside, one could say, but it's also a connection with all that is, and a connection with life itself, with what it's called in alchemy, anima mundi. It's a world soul. It's like the drop connecting with the ocean. All right, so I will share my web page and my email in case you want to contact me, not for a session maybe, but just to contact me after watching this video. You're welcome to do so, of course. Thank you for following my YouTube channel. And of course, I'm very happy if you want to subscribe or write something or click like button. It sounds silly maybe, but I don't think it's an ego thing anymore for me. Ego is good too, but I like to spread my message. And if you participate this way, you help me spread my message, as you know. Well, okay. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. Take care.